Welcome back. My name's Jax, and I'm taking this Ford E350 cargo van and converting it into an RV.
Last week, I finished the ceiling's shiplap, installed 2 windows, and worked on the shower's enclosure.
Alright, so got the interior painted. 2 coats on the ceiling and just 1 coat on the walls. I ran out of paint, so I'll have to get another gallon of paint. So then I started looking at the door, because now that the ceiling's painted, I don't have to worry about the door being in the way to paint it. So garage door is starting to go in. I've got the first section in, and seems to be okay so far. So I'm going to get a second section and get it bolted on there, and then we'll see if we can't open it and see what it looks like. Okay, so we got the cables for the door. I got it started here. And we gotta get it locked into this little groove here. That's 4 turns. That's 5. There's 1. Oh yeah, that's... Knew I couldn't have gotten that lucky.
As you can see here, adjusting door springs can be very dangerous. So unless you know what you're doing, I strongly recommend you seek some advice from a professional.
Okay. So just need 2 of these wheels. Alright, so the last one, might be a little bit worried. The top bracket for the top rollers it's on an adjustable miter sort of thing. We may have to adjust that, but won't know until we get it up there. So pop the carriage bolts in. Okay, grab some wheels. Rollers. Hey, look at that, we even got 2 left.
but that's definitely going to be a problem, isn't it? No, no. You'll get that fire. Ay, 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 ay. Don't you dare. Holy cow, it's in. It's dirty. Alright, well technically that should go off. That's clearly a problem.
Well, the door's on, but it won't open. We've got a little bit of a binding issue going on up here. Has to do with the transition I put in, the little angled transition here at the rear. So we're gonna have to modify that today.
So a little dark in here, but this is the inside. So the top of the door and the weather strip. There's an adjustable car here for the last skate. But what we need to do is we need to lift this up. It needs to be elevated a little bit more. To create some more space for this top of the door. So there we go. There we go. Got that side off. Okay, so side's already loose. Well, hopefully I'll be able to adjust these a little bit more with when I get this transition part reworked. I guess I didn't take enough pictures and photographs, video of how this sort of fits in here, but that door is going to ride pretty close to right there. So I need to make a flat spot, vertically flat, and then tip this transition back more. Okay, so what I decided to do was epoxy in a 2x2 here along this edge. The door, when the garage door is flipped all the way up, it comes to just about the top of this. The rubber seal on the door sticks above just a little bit, but the bulk of the door just sits right on that 2x2 here. So from there, I'll be able to reset these supports. We'll have to come up with a new miter and cut them short to fit inside above this on top. Hopefully it'll clear the spring. If not, I'll have to do some coping out the backside because there really just isn't any more room to do anything with. So, okay, well that was easier than I was expecting, but I did get the four braces in, so they're screwed in. They're not going anywhere. I'll have to fill in that screw hole later on and paint, but otherwise that's it. That should be a done deal. Now the shiplap's gonna come down to there, and that's it. There's nothing gonna be on this 2x2, so I'm gonna have to sand it, paint it, and then that'll be finished product. And then hopefully the shiplap will still be fine lengthwise or widthwise. It should actually be shorter now that I lifted it up. But we'll have to measure that and trim that tomorrow once this epoxy sets up today. So, but otherwise that's pretty much a done deal. That's not bad. There is absolutely zero clearance on these springs. So there'll be a little bit of a, it's just wood on steel. It isn't pinching, or it isn't, super tight, but it's definitely, I couldn't have gone any higher with it. But I think that's it. So we'll just wait for that epoxy to set and call that a project done. Looks like the epoxy setup. So we'll be able to pull the clamps off and fit the shiplap up here. See what that looks like. Plenty of clamps. That should take care of that. Now we need to sand this off. We're gonna have to rip that. I gotta rip this shiplap down, and I think the only good way of doing that is to use the rip guide. But unfortunately, the piece is too small to clamp. So I'm just going to use a screw to fasten that to.
cut too much off. I guess we'll find out, won't we? How well did we measure? Knowing my luck, I probably cut too much off. Honestly, it's not terrible. No, not terrible at all. Oops. Wrong one. Yep. Not terrible. Alright. So that pretty much takes care of that. Now the moment of truth is whether or not the door is going to behave. Because it needs to freely open. I think this side here was pretty much set. I'll keep pressure on the door out, but I'm going to make sure that it's going to pull away as we lift up on the door. It's either going to move or it isn't going to move. And it's not happy. Well, hopefully it moves this time. Well, yeah. That's
Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's Great Door Debacle. Join me next week when I get started on some cabinets.
so that looks pretty sweet.
And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. See y'all next week.